whatever time of day it is for you. We are now on Chapter 9 of Baron Trump's Marvellous Underground Journey. And this is the illustration from that chapter, and if you will notice as I zoom in, I'm going to zoom into this photograph because the title of this chapter is, hang on, it says, does that look like a heart there? And I believe this is supposed to be the Baron Trump. So let's go take a look at the chapter, which starts on page 56. I'm going to zoom out now. Okay. So we're picking up where we left off, and Baron Trump is traveling through portals in the underground world with his dog and is leaving the castle, the Trump castle, on a quest. So let's read chapter 9 now. Owing to the soft air, the chapter title's kind of long, so I'm just going to skip it. If you want to pause and read it, you're welcome to. Owing to the soft air, the never-varying temperature, and the absence of all noise and dust, the Mickamankees, although they die in the end like other folk, yet do they never seem to grow old. Their skin remains soft and free from wrinkles, and their eyes as clear and bright as the crystal of Queen Galexa's throne. At the time of our arrival in the land of transparent folk, Queen Galexa's heart had almost run down. In about 2 weeks more, it would come quietly and gently to a stop. Remember the picture we just looked at about, it was Queen Galexa's heart, right? So this is a transparent section of the underground world, and these are the transparent folk. In about 2 weeks more, it would come quietly and gently to a stop. For as I've already told you, dear friends, the heart of Mickamanke being perfectly visible, when the dazzling white light in its full strength was allowed to shine through his body, why it was a very easy matter for a physician to take a look at the organ of life and tell almost to the hour when it would exhaust itself. In other words, run down. Galexa looked every inch a real queen, as she half reclined upon her glorious crystal throne. She was clad in a long flowing silk garments of a right royal purple, and the gems which encircled her neck and wrists would have put to shame the crown jewels of any monarch of the upper world. Her garb had very much the cut and style of the ancient Greek costume, and the gold sandals worn by her added to the resemblance. But the one thing that excited my wonder, let me scooch this back, then, oh dear, all right, I'm trying to get it at a good, oh, I know what I'll do. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so wonder more than all others put together was her hair. So long, so fine and silken was it. Such a mass of it there was, and so dazzling white was it. Not the blue or yellow white that comes of age in our world, but milk white, or cotton white. And as we drew near to Bulger's, but not to my amazement, her hair began to quiver and rustle and rise until it buried her whole throne completely out of sight. Of course, I knew that seated as she was upon a throne of glass, it was only necessary to send a gentle current of electricity through her to make her wonderful head of hair stand up in this manner like the white and filmy tentacles of some gigantic creature of the sea, half plant, half animal. "Rise, little baron," said Queen Galexa, as I dropped upon my right knee, on the lowest step of the throne, "and be welcome to our kingdom. Whilst thou may be pleased to tarry here, my people shall bestir themselves to show thee all that may seem wonderful in thine eyes. For although our wise men have often discussed to us of the upper world, yet art thou its first inhabitant to visit us, and thy wonderful companion is right welcome too. Can he talk, little baron?" "Not exactly, Queen Galexa," said I with low obeisance. "Yet can he understand me, and I him?" "He's quite harmless, is he not?" asked the Queen. You may try to imagine how I felt, dear friends, when I was about to say, "Perfectly so, royal lady." To my amazement, I saw Bulger advance and sniff at Princess Crystallina, and then draw back and show his teeth, as she stretched out her hand to caress him. Bending over him, I reproved him in a whisper and bade him kneel before the Queen. This he proceeded to do, saluting her with the 3 very stately bows, at which everybody laughed heartily. "I would have him come nearer," said the Queen, "so that I may lay my hand upon him." At a sign from me, Bulger began to lick his forepaws very carefully, and then, having wiped them on the rug, sprang up the steps of the throne and placed his front feet upon Queen Galexa's lap. The fair ruler of Monkeys was delighted with this sample of Bulger's fine manners, and in order to amuse her still further, I proceeded to put Bulger through many of his quaint tricks and curious feats, bidding him say his prayers, feign death, weep for his sweetheart, count 10, walk upright, go lame, and cry to tell how it hurts. Scarcely had he gone half around the circle, feigning lameness, when the damsel Glowstone began to weep herself, and stooping down commenced to caress Bulger and to kiss his lame foot, caress which, to my more than surprise, Bulger was not slow in returning, and later too, when I bade him choose the maiden he loved best and kissed her hand, he bounded straight toward Glowstone and bestowed not 1 but 20 kisses upon her outstretched hands, while the Princess Crystallina shrank away in fear and disgust from the ugly beast, as she termed him. "Bid him bring my handkerchief to me, little baron," cried Galexa, throwing it to the floor. I did as the Queen commanded, but Bulger refused to obey. "Thou seest, Queen Galexa," said I with a low bow, "he refuses to lift the handkerchief without a command from thy royal self," which delicate compliment pleased the lady mightily. How comes it, little baron, she asked, that thou shouldest be of noble lineage, and thy brother, as thou callest him, plain vulgar? It comes, royal lady, said I right humbly, as it often comes in the world which I inhabit, that honors go to them that least deserve them. Well then, little baron, cried Galexa gaily, though I be but a petty sovereign compared with thine, yet may small rulers do acts of great justice. Bid thy four-footed brother kneel before us. At a word from me, Bulger prostrated himself on the steps of Galexa's crystal throne, and laid his head at her very feet. Leaning forward, she touched him lightly with her golden wand, and exclaimed, Rise, Lord Bulger, rise. Queen Galexa, seated on her crystal throne, bids Bulger rise. In an instant, Bulger raised himself on his hind feet and laid his head on the queen's lap, while the whole room rang with loud huzzas, and every lady gently clapped her frail and glass-like hands, save Princess Crystallina, who feigned to be asleep. Queen Galexa now undid a string of pearls from her neck and tied them with her own hands around Lord Bulger's. And so it was that my four-footed brother ceased to be plain Bulger. Then, turning to her counselors of state, Queen Galexa bade them assign a royal apartment to Lord Bulger and me, and gave strict orders that the severest punishment be at once visited upon any Monkey who should dare to laugh at us or make disrespectful remarks concerning our dark eyes and skins and weather-beaten appearance, for as the royal lady said to her people, ye might look worse than they were ye compelled to live on the outside instead of the inside of the world, exposed to biting blasts, piercing cold, and clouds of suffocating dust. By the queen's orders, 3 of the wisest of Minkaminkies were selected to attend Bulger and me, look after our wants, explain everything to us, in a word, do all in their power to make our stay in Goggleland as pleasant as possible. Some people think this is Google Land. I don't know. I think it's pronounced Goggle, but it depends. Their names, as nearly as I can translate them, were Dr. Nebulosus, Sir Amber Opaque. Excuse me, pardon me, I sneezed, I'm sorry. And Lord Concour. I should explain to you, dear friends, the meaning of these names, for you might be inclined to think that Dr. Somewhat Cloudy, Sir Clear as Amber, and Lord Heart of a Horn might indicate that they were more or less muddled in their intellects. Far from it. I've already stated to you they were 3 of the very wisest men in the land of transparent folk, and the lack of clearness indicated by their names had reference solely to their eyes. Now, as you know, the learned men of our upper world have a different look from ordinary folk. They are stoop-shouldered, shaggy-eyebrowed, long-haired, purse-lipped, nearsighted, shambling-gaited. Well, the only effect that long years of deep study had upon the Mikaminkies was to rob their beautiful crystal-like eyes of more or less their clearness. Now, I think you'll understand why these 3 learned Mikaminkies were named as they were. At any rate, They were, in spite of their strange names, three most charming gentlemen, and no matter how many times I might ask the same question over and over again, they were always ready with an answer quite as polite as the first given me. They did everything that I had a right possibly to expect them to do. Indeed, there was but one single thing that I would have fain had them do. That was to let me look through them. This they most carefully avoided doing, and no matter how warmed up they might become in their descriptions, and no matter how on the alert I was to catch the coveted peep, the inevitable black fan was always in the way. Naturally, not only they, but all the transparent folk felt a repugnance to have a perfect stranger look through them, and I couldn't blame them for it either. I despaired of ever getting a chance of seeing the human heart beating away for dear life, for all the world just like the swing of a pendulum or the vibration of a balance wheel. Okay, chapter 10 we'll read next time. Nighty night. Thank you for watching. Love you lots. Bye.